When I earned my degree, my parents posted, "We're so proud of both our kids. One graduated, the other one has real potential." My brother hadn't finished high school, so I left the group chat and did this. A year later, they showed up outside my apartment in the rain. I should have known better. I did know better. But for one stupid, perfect second, I thought maybe I wasn't invisible anymore. Let me rewind. Graduation day. Big moment. After 4 years of balancing classes, commuting 2 hours a day, working nights at a grocery store so we wouldn't lose the house, finally, I was walking across that stage in a wrinkled gown, holding a piece of paper that apparently made me successful. It wasn't Ivy League. No one clapped extra loud. But I did it. I earned my degree in computer science. No loans. No safety net. Just me, my backpack, and the sheer force of spite. My parents didn't come, by the way. They said they couldn't get the time off, which was weird because I'm pretty sure my dad hasn't had a structured job since 2018, and my mom's a freelance photographer who posts #cappuccino and sunlight pics at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays. But whatever. I wasn't mad. Okay, I was mad. But I told myself I wasn't. Because they'd said something that gave me a sliver of hope. That morning, I was in the kitchen reheating my coffee when I heard my mom say to my dad, "We should probably post something later for Caleb. It's a big day." And then my dad, who usually reserves praise for his favorite baseball team and Tyler's most recent unfinished hobby, nodded and said, "Yeah, it's the least we can do." I didn't react. Didn't smile. Just stood there staring at the microwave, trying not to breathe too loud. Like if I made a sound, I'd break the spell. A post. They were going to make a post. Let me explain why that mattered. They post for everything. Tyler gets a new skateboard. There's a 10-slide Instagram story. Tyler colors half a picture, Facebook reel. Tyler says he might be interested in real estate. Full tweet thread with #manifesting my son's greatness. Me. Radio silence. For years. I once made the dean's list, and they told me to be careful not to seem full of myself. So yeah, a post? That was huge. And for the next few hours, I let myself feel it. That maybe this time they saw me. That maybe I wasn't just the guy who covered the mortgage when the water heater broke. Or the walking ATM who quietly bought Tyler's textbooks even though he never opened them. Maybe I was their son. So I kept checking my phone. After the ceremony. On the train home. At 11 p.m., curled up in bed with my cap on the floor. And finally, there it was. A photo. Captioned, "We're so proud of both our kids. One graduated, the other one has real potential." And I just stared at it. Let's break that down. One graduated. Cool. Accurate. Vague. No name. No tag. Just a blurry wide shot of someone who might be me walking across the stage, if you squinted. Like I was a stock image they Googled. But then came the second part. The other one has real potential. And there he was. Tyler. Smiling. Shirtless. Holding a surfboard. A surfboard. Because apparently nothing says bright future like failing 3 math classes and still getting a "we're so proud" tag for breathing in the general direction of ambition. And just like that, the warmth I'd been holding onto all day turned sour in my chest. It wasn't just the caption. It was everything underneath it. The fact that this was how they chose to celebrate me. By equating a degree I'd worked 4 years for, through exhaustion, isolation, and borderline malnutrition, with Tyler's unconfirmed interest in trying community college once he feels ready. They didn't even say my name. They tagged him. Not me. And suddenly I was 16 again, watching Tyler get a brand new bike for getting a C in biology while I was told grades aren't everything after acing calculus. I was 19, working 2 jobs and taking night classes while Tyler dropped out and went on a mental health road trip. That was mostly him crashing on couches and posting vape tricks on TikTok. And I was 22, standing in our kitchen thinking, maybe they'll finally say something nice about me, like an idiot. I didn't comment. Didn't like it. I just closed the app, opened the group chat, and tapped leave conversation. Then I sat there in the dark with my phone in my hand and the taste of shame in my mouth. Because that's what it was. Shame. Not anger. Not even disappointment. Just that deep, aching feeling that no matter how hard you try, you'll always be the background noise to someone else's spotlight. That you can earn a degree, support your whole family, sacrifice every ounce of your youth, and still be the afterthought in your own story. They didn't notice I left the group chat. Of course they didn't. But I noticed. And for the first time, I decided that was enough. I was done waiting for a post, a plaque, or a thank you text that was never coming. They could keep their surfboard prodigy. I had my degree, and a whole lot of silence to fill. You'd think I'd be used to it by now. The silence, the shrinking, the applause that always seemed to land a little louder when it was for someone else. But I think what messes you up the most is how normal it starts to feel. Like when your brother forgets your birthday and your parents say, "He's going through a lot right now." You stop expecting a gift and start measuring love and how calm you can stay when they laugh at you for caring. That's the rhythm I grew up in. I don't have some dramatic childhood story where I was locked under the stairs or denied food. My parents technically fed me, clothed me, even attended a few PTA meetings when the guilt kicked in. But if you've ever been the kid who's only praised for being low maintenance, you know exactly what I mean when I say it wasn't neglect. It was polite erasure. And then there was Tyler, my younger brother, by 2 years, but somehow always the one who needed more understanding, more patience, more air in the room. Tyler was a storm in a human body. Loud, emotional, charming in the way that made teachers forgive late homework and girls give him second chances after the fourth lie. He could fail a test and convince you it was a political statement. When I got a B+, my mom would squint and say, "Next time, aim higher." When Tyler got a C-, it was he's doing his best. He's got so much on his mind. Apparently, having a lot on your mind also included buying sneakers with my debit card in 8th grade and claiming he thought it was family money. Spoiler, he didn't pay me back. When I got accepted into college, I didn't get a cake. I got a grocery list and a quiet reminder that since I'd be living at home to save money, I could chip in a little more around the house. By chip in, they meant work as many shifts as humanly possible and cover the gap when the mortgage was short, while also commuting 2 hours a day and studying for finals with my eyes half open and my hands still smelling like deli meat. Meanwhile, Tyler was on his self-discovery year, which, in our house, meant dropping out of high school, posting philosophical captions under shirtless mirror selfies, and occasionally starting projects he never finished, like the dog walking business, the YouTube channel, the fitness coaching, the dropshipping scheme. Each one got a bigger round of applause than my actual scholarship. My mom's favorite line, "He just needs to find his passion." Right. Apparently I found mine early, working and not complaining. To be clear, I wasn't asking for a parade or a gold star, but I was hoping maybe, after 4 years of sacrificing every ounce of my time and energy to keep this family afloat, they'd, I don't know, remember my name in a Facebook post. Instead, I got real potential. Let's talk about that phrase. It's like a backhand to the soul. It says everything while saying nothing. He hasn't done anything, but don't worry, he might. And if he ever does, you can be sure they'll be there, front row, clapping like it was their idea all along. Meanwhile, I was the one paying for Tyler's textbooks. Yes, even after he dropped out. They didn't go to waste. He used one of them to balance a wobbly desk leg in his room. I didn't stop helping. I don't even know why. Maybe part of me thought if I just kept being useful, they'd start seeing me as valuable. I covered Wi-Fi, groceries, insurance, even slipped $200 into my mom's purse once because she cried when the electricity bill came and said, "We just need a little breathing room this month." Funny how she never seemed short of breath when Tyler wanted concert tickets. There were moments, though, little cracks in the armor where I let myself believe I mattered. Like the time my dad got sick and I took over everything, appointments, meds, bills. He looked at me once, just once, and said, "I don't know what we'd do without you." And I held on to that sentence like it was gospel. Wrote it on the walls of my brain in permanent marker. But by the time he was better, Tyler had crashed his car, and I was back to being the reliable one who could just help out for a bit. I think the worst part isn't even the work. I don't mind working. It's that no matter how much I gave, it was never a headline, never a post, never a story worth sharing. Tyler gets a haircut, and my mom's on Instagram like he's starring in a shampoo commercial. I work 60 hours in a week, and the most I get is a lukewarm, "Don't push yourself too hard," which I used to think was concern. Now I think it was code for "Don't burn out, we still need you." So when I saw that graduation post, I wasn't shocked by the caption. I was shocked I let myself hope for something different. That's the part that hurts the most. Not what they did, but the fact that I believed, even for a second, that this time would be different. That maybe walking across that stage would be enough. That maybe the kid who stayed, who paid, who held everything together in silence, would finally be allowed to exist in the spotlight. Instead, I got cropped out of my own celebration. I left the group chat, and no one even noticed. No text. No, are you okay? No, nothing. It was like the digital version of watching them all walk into a family photo and shut the door behind them. Tyler probably thinks I'm being dramatic. He probably screenshotted the post and sent it to someone with a laughing emoji like, LMAO Caleb's big day. But I wasn't looking for fanfare. I was looking for proof that I hadn't imagined the effort, that I hadn't wasted 4 years trying to earn something that was never mine to begin with. Their approval, their pride, their love. And if they couldn't give me that, then maybe it was time to stop giving them anything at all. I didn't make an announcement. No dramatic exit. No emotional, I'm done speech. I just stopped. Stopped covering the phone bill. Stopped Venmoing my mom a little extra when she said groceries were tight. Stopped forwarding job listings to my dad. Stopped reminding Tyler, sorry, Mr. Real Potential, to turn in his community college application, which, by the way, he never started. I didn't storm out of the house. I didn't slam any doors. I just began the quiet, surgical process of extracting myself from their lives. Starting with the money. You'd be amazed how many things I was quietly funding. I'd set up auto payments for utilities during sophomore year and never turned them off. I'd bought new tires for my dad's car last winter and didn't even tell him. They just appeared like magic. I was still covering Wi-Fi, for God's sake. So I logged into every account, every app, and every recurring payment I had set up in a moment of guilt or obligation, and I hit cancel. One by one. Click. Done. Click. Gone. It felt like peeling off layers of a costume I didn't know I was wearing. At first, nothing happened. No texts. No, hey, did something change? Just the usual radio silence. Tyler was still posting thirst traps. My mom still tagged him in motivational quotes like, the best is yet to come. Then the bills started bouncing. Subtle signs. A late fee notice on the kitchen counter. My dad asking if the bank's been acting weird. Tyler screaming at the router because the Wi-Fi cut out mid-TikTok. Still, no one looked at me. Even when I quit my part-time job to start a full-time grad role, they barely blinked. I packed up my stuff, moved into a tiny one-bedroom apartment across town, and not one person asked if I needed help. Which, to be clear, I didn't. What I needed was for someone, anyone, to ask. To care. Even for a second. Instead, I got a single text from my mom the day I moved out. Don't forget your leftover pasta in the fridge. Touching. But then the cracks started spreading. A week after I moved out, my dad called and left a voicemail that said, Hey buddy, the gas bill came in higher than usual this month. Let me know if you've got a few bucks to spot us. No pressure. I didn't respond. Tyler texted me the next day. Dude, can you send me like $40 for gas? I'm broke, and mom said you used to cover that stuff anyway. Used to. That part almost made me laugh. He didn't say thank you. Didn't ask. Just used to. Like I was a discontinued service they forgot to replace. Then came the group message from my mom. I know things have been tense lately, but you're still part of this family. Tyler needs help registering for classes, and we're just not in a place to cover the deposit right now. Anything you can do would mean a lot. She even added a heart emoji. Like that would soften the blow. That was the moment I realized they didn't miss me. They missed my labor. They missed my money, my reminders, my presence as a tool, not a person. And that's when I started talking. Not to them. Not yet. To people who actually saw me. Friends from work. A manager who congratulated me on landing the grad job and asked what I wanted to learn next. Not how fast I could fix someone else's mess. I started going to the gym. Not to look good. Just to feel like I had a body again. Like I wasn't just a pair of hands holding up someone else's roof. I bought a bookshelf. My own bookshelf. Built it alone. Filled it with books no one borrowed or spilled things on or claimed were too boring. And every time a bill didn't come to my inbox, every time I sat in silence without someone yelling from the next room for just one more thing, I breathed a little easier. But of course they didn't let go quietly. One night, 2 weeks after I moved, my mom called again. I didn't answer. She texted, Please don't shut us out. This isn't like you. And she was right. It wasn't like me. It was like someone who'd finally stopped ignoring how little he was valued. So I replied, I'm not shutting you out. I'm just done giving things you don't appreciate. She didn't reply. The next day, I got a message from Tyler. You're being dramatic. Just because they posted something dumb doesn't mean you get to act like a victim. Victim. Interesting word coming from someone who once sobbed on the kitchen floor because his gaming headset broke and insisted we were emotionally abusing him by asking him to clean his room. But sure, I'm the dramatic one. It escalated faster than I expected. My dad texted me the following week. You made your point. You're angry. But this family isn't something you get to opt out of just because you feel overlooked. And I realized then that none of them understood. This wasn't about anger. This wasn't a tantrum. This was clarity. I wasn't punishing them. I was removing myself from a cycle that had drained me for years. And they were finally feeling it. Not through yelling. Not through slammed doors. Through silence. And silence, I was learning, speaks louder than all the years I spent begging to be seen. It started with a knock. Not a text. Not a call. A literal knock on my apartment door at 7:42 p.m. on a Wednesday. It was raining, of course it was, and when I looked through the peephole, I saw all three of them. My dad, my mom, and Tyler. Standing there in damp jackets, no umbrella, faces pinched like they'd just stepped out of a soap opera. I opened the door halfway. Caleb, my mom said, her voice already shaking. We need to talk. I didn't move. You could have called, I said flatly. We tried. My dad jumped in. But you've made it clear you're not answering. Correct, I said. Because I'm not interested in round 6 of emotional monopoly, where I keep paying and Tyler always passes go. Tyler rolled his eyes. Oh my God, you're still doing this. My jaw tensed, but I didn't react. What exactly do you want? I asked. We want to fix this, my mom said, stepping forward. This family is falling apart. We're behind on bills. Tyler might lose his spot at school. That he never actually applied to. I cut in. She flinched. My dad jumped in. You're right. Okay, you made your point. We've been struggling without your help. But you don't just get to abandon your family. There it was. Not a single apology. Just an accusation wrapped in fake vulnerability. I looked at Tyler. You said I was being dramatic, I said. Still feel that way? He shrugged. I mean, yeah. You ghosted us over a caption. I actually laughed. A caption. You graduated, he said, stepping forward now. Congrats. Seriously. But it's not like you cured cancer. Neither did you, I snapped. But somehow you got the parade. Silence. Thunder cracked behind them. Perfect timing. My mom tried again, voice softer. You've always been the strong one, Caleb. I thought you didn't need that kind of recognition. Let me translate that, I said. You thought I'd tolerate being ignored as long as you kept needing me. No, she said quickly. That's not it. Then what is it? I asked, stepping fully into the doorway now. What do you want me to say? That I forgive you? That I'll come back and keep paying for your mistakes while Tyler plays startup founder in his pajamas? He's trying, she whispered. He's 20, I said. He's trying Instagram Live and your patience. That's not the same thing. Tyler muttered something under his breath. What was that? I asked. I said, maybe we should have never asked you for anything, he snapped. At least then you wouldn't act like we owe you the moon. I blinked. You don't owe me the moon, I said. You owe me acknowledgement. You owe me the decency of saying, hey, maybe the guy who held this house together for years deserves more than a footnote. My dad's face hardened. You're acting like we abused you, he said. You lived under our roof. Yeah, I said. And I paid for the privilege. He started to say something, but I held up my hand. You know what the worst part is? I said. It's not even the money. It's that you only noticed I was gone when the Wi-Fi stopped working and the fridge got emptier. Not because you missed me. Because you missed the convenience. No one spoke. Rain kept coming down behind them, steady and cold. Then my mom said it. The final card. Caleb, we love you. And I looked her in the eyes and said, no, Mom. You loved what I could do for you. And now that I've stopped, you don't know who I am anymore. She cried. Tyler shook his head and walked off, muttering something about me being selfish. My dad looked at me like I'd just betrayed the family bloodline. But I didn't close the door right away. I let them stand there a little longer. Let the silence settle. Then I said, this was never about one post. It was about every moment you told me I didn't need appreciation because I wasn't fragile like him. But I wasn't strong. I was just quiet. And now I'm done. And I shut the door. No slam. No drama. Just done. In the weeks that followed, things got desperate. Tyler tried messaging mutual friends to talk some sense into me. He said I was going through something and needed to get over my ego. My mom sent an email with the subject line, "Can we start over?" It was full of passive-aggressive love and a PayPal link for just one more tuition payment. I archived it. My dad left me a voicemail. "You think you're better than us now? Good for you. Let's see how far that gets you." Turns out pretty far. Because 2 months later, I was promoted. I moved into a better place. Got a dog. Named him Newton because if my parents taught me anything, it's that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I started seeing a therapist. Not because I was broken, but because for the first time in my life, I could afford to put myself first. And that night, when the rain had stopped and the air outside my apartment was still, I stood on my balcony with Newton curled at my feet, and I let myself breathe. Not for anyone else. Not to prove anything. Just for me. And it was enough. Sometimes I still catch myself wondering if I went too far. If maybe I should have answered one of those calls. Explained it better. Been more gracious about setting boundaries, whatever that means. But then I remember all those years I said nothing. All the birthdays skipped. The sacrifices dismissed. The way they clapped louder for potential than they ever did for proof. And I know this wasn't cruelty. It was clarity. Because walking away doesn't always mean anger. Sometimes it just means you're done being the backup plan for people who never planned to value you. So what do you think? Was I too harsh? Should I have given them one more chance? Or was it finally time someone called them out? Not with words, but with silence? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if you like stories like this, quiet revenge, family drama, hard-earned peace, hit that subscribe button.